The country's budget was up for talks with Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Finance, Delton Jones, in an interview with News 4, gives the public an update as to whether there is any improvement to last year's deficit.
Well, what I can say is that the budget certainly builds on efforts that have been started last year to stabilize public finances. And whilst in the past year we have had a lot of success controlling expenditure, because of the decline in revenue, even though we had introduced some new revenue measures, still had a deficit.
In the new budget, the Royal Turks and Caicos Islands Police Force will see some extra monies allocated to them.
Basically, I think the proposal is in response to the situation in the country where everyone is concerned about the crime and all of that there, and there is of the police force to make at least an additional $4 million available to the police.
Jones said this money is coming from the ordinary government resources to address the issues the Royal Turks and Caicos Islands Police Force is facing. Increased budgetary allocations were also given to program in the areas of debt services and health. He assured residents that there be no new taxes in terms of health.
No, there will be no more tax. I think again, what you find is that the changes in the area of health are new budget heads actually allocate provision or show where we would actually be servicing the changes that have taken place in the health sector, with the NHIP and with hospitals. And what you will find is that two years ago, we would have spent about $70 million in the whole healthcare sector, but in the new budget, you will find the allocation substantially reduced. Also, in the area of debt service costs, because of as you know, we are working on a consolidated loan, and we hope to be able to announce some more information on that shortly. So we anticipate closing that loan, and that will have debt service and cost implications. So we have to make increased provision to deal for that eventuality.
In terms of the country's economy, the Ministry of Finance head said, like most other countries, the Turks and Caicos has its challenges due to the global downturn. He said the country is still trying to rebound from Hurricanes Ike and Hannah, but added that they are in the process of getting things back on target.
We ended the last year with a deficit and a number of outstanding bills that we have to pay. We have been focusing on trying to put in place arrangements to pay those off. So going forward, one of the main objectives for the SNA would be to offer our creditors be in a position to continue to control expenditure, but also control commitments, so that whenever the government incurs a liability, we are in a position to deal with that. But also looking at where the economy is and the external issues, we would hope during the course of the budget, through the tariff reform, looking at a new stamp duty regime, to be able to provide some measure of stimulus to the economy to affect the private sector. But also, we are looking through the development budget to be able to provide capital projects which could provide some form of stimulus and employment creation. Also, we talked in the past about diversification, agriculture, support to green technology and agriculture, diversification within the tourism sector. So all of those are things which I get to provide stimulus. Also, clarification of the inward investment regime, hopefully starting to promote the Turks and Caicos again. So those are the things that we can do locally. But of course, all of this has to be balanced against the fact depending on inward direct investment from away. And no doubt persons who would be potential investors, their ability to undertake projects would be dependent on the changes or improvements in the world. We have to balance all of those issues going forward.
But the question is, are we broke? Jones explains.
Well, basically, we indicated that at the start of it, that we didn't have any reserve. But essentially what we're saying is by controlling our expenditure, going after revenue arrears, implementing the revenue review, which is in the public domain, right, and providing a level of stimulus and assurance, we should be in a position that when the world economy begins to economy should be in a position to grow with it. Also, we're talking about diversification and other reforms. Once we maintain expenditure going forward, we should then be in a position with future growth to be able to service debt obligations, make transfer to development fund, and begin the process of rebuilding reserves. So I'm not saying that we're out of the woods, and I'm saying that there is a challenge, but certainly with greater discipline as far as expenditure control and commitments, we'll be in a position to once the economy starts to rebound, to be able to harness more revenue and control the distribution of revenue. Because in a small economy such as this, we know that the world economy goes through cycles, and it's just that we were not prepared for this one because we passed programs of expenditure where expenditure was way out of bounds in regards to revenue, despite the fact that we were in a growing economy situation. So what we have to do is reverse that psychology. So going forward, we control expenditure, and if it falls economy takeover, we're in a position where we can make informed choices as to whether we can fund a particular project, put money into reserves, service debt. So it's all about reversing the culture of expenditure-driven development more towards controlling expenditure. So going forward, we can be in a better position to control our dynamics going forward.
News 4 did pose the question about TCIG taking over stevedoring in the TCI, and Jones said the Advisory Council is looking at the matter and we should get more information shortly. Stay tuned for part 2 of the interview, as News 4 will have it in a subsequent newscast. For WIB4 News, I'm Takara Bain.